Alright guys, I hope you guys all enjoy your 3-day weekend. When we come back on Tuesday, we're going to start talking about rationals on a coordinate plane. And kind of what we're talking about are, we've done coordinate plane before, but this time we're going to put some fractions and decimals, mostly just fractions, on our coordinate plane and how to graph those. So I kind of set up a sample board right here. And to remind you guys, you can look back on the first page of your notes, but to put it all on one page, our green line here is our x-axis, and the y line here is our y-axis. And so as you label those, kind of keep those in mind. I also wrote on here the origin is 0, 0. That's where you start. And we're going to put fractions on our coordinate plane. So if the center is 0 and there's two lines in the middle, that means each line is 1/3. So this would be 1/3, 2/3, and then 3/3 makes positive 1. Going backwards, that would be negative 1/3, negative 2/3, and then negative 3/3, which would just be 1. Going up and down, we now have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then 1 whole, and then negative 1/4, negative 2/4, negative 3/4, negative 1 whole. You could also think about these if these were percentages. That would be 25%, that would be 50%, 75%, 100%. So it looks really similar to what we did before with, on the very first page, we had, hope I can find my notes now. We had these. It just looks a little bit different now that before we had whole numbers 1, 2, 3, and now we're just going to use fractions like 1/3, 2/3, and then 1 whole. So it's really the same thing as before. I gave you all an example of how to use a coordinate plane, and so there's kind of the steps you want to take. The first step is to always start at the origin. That's always our very first thing we do when we're graphing points. We start at the origin. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to move to the x numbered coordinate. So you're always going to move to the x, this first number first. The x goes first. That means left and right. So the positive goes to the right, the negative goes to the left. The third thing we're going to do is that you're going to move to the y number coordinate. So on the y-axis, the positive numbers go up and the negative numbers go down. So I kind of give you guys an example here. An example would be, we need to graph the point 2/3 and negative 3/4. So 2/3, this is a positive number, it's a positive fraction. So we're going to look on our coordinate plane here and start at 0. We're going to go to 2/3, so 1/3, 2/3. And then we're going to go to negative 3/4. Since the y is negative, we're going to go down. So we're going to move down to 3/4. So I'm going to go negative 1/4, negative 2/4, negative 3/4. And so these two lines meet right here. And that's where I'm going to make my point, where these two meet. Alright, so that's just a really quick review of how to do rationals on a coordinate plane. When we get back to school on Tuesday, we're going to practice this a little bit more. I hope you guys enjoy your 3-day weekend, and I will see everybody on Tuesday.